two couples were driving too fast up the winding Turnbull Canyon Road, wheels screeching, girls squealing, boys laughing, music blasting. It was Friday night, and the four teenagers were looking for somewhere quiet out of the way for a little privacy. Headlights probed into the night, turning this way and that in the dark, rounding curve after curve. All of a sudden, the boy driving turned off the headlights and continued rolling forward in perfect darkness, while the other three occupants of the car screamed and yelled at him to turn on the lights. His girlfriend was pounding on his shoulder and screaming as he flicked the headlight switch back on just in time to see the next hairpin turn. There was nervous laughter in the car the rest of the way to the top of Turnbull Canyon Road, where a lone streetlight marked the intersection of Skyline Drive. They turned left and drove up to the gate at the end of the street, parked, and got out. As they walked up the driveway, they told stories of how there used to be a haunted house at the top of the hill that was burned down after Satanists were discovered performing rituals and sacrifices there. The kids reached the top of the driveway and flashlights washed back and forth over the foundations of a demolished mansion. They grew quiet as they explored the rubble of the ruins. One boy said, "Hey, check this out," and the four teenagers converged around an empty swimming pool. In the light of their flashlights, they could see that it was covered in graffiti. There was a huge red pentagram, and they noticed many crude swastikas as well. To one side of the pool, they saw a pile of rubble left behind where there was once a fireplace and chimney. There were fresh ashes, possibly left by some other kids partying up here some other night. There were definitely enough broken beer bottles and crushed beer cans littering the site to support that assumption. Or could the ashes be the evidence of something more sinister? Maybe the stories of satanic cults were true? "Did you just hear something?" one of the girls asks. And at first he dismisses the idea, but then hears some leaves crunching under something or someone's foot. Everybody freezes, pointing their flashlights in silence toward the crunching sound in the bushes as it shockingly continues towards them. The two couples see dark, shadowy shapes moving in the bushes and bolt back down the scrabbly driveway to their car. They hear the slap of feet and scrape of rocks as they fumble keys and locks. Doors slam as the engine roars to life, headlights flash on, and they expect to see the hooded Satanists running down the driveway to get them as they peel out and rocks fly up in the air behind them. The driver glares at the red brake-lit woods in his rearview mirror as the three passengers crank their heads back to look out the rear window at the red glare and darkening shadows of the woods receding behind them.
Nice. There's nothing like the hysteria that comes from friends. When people are together and
In
someone
groups,
goes,
yeah.
"Watch out! Let's get out of here!" And
Everybody
then,
sees
dude, you get that
Yeah.
feeling, and
Yeah.
it's like a stampede.
Right?
Everyone starts running. You didn't even know what you're
Yeah.
running from.
No.
You just lose your shit.
Yep,
I remember being
survival
a kid.
instincts.
Yeah, the
kick in,
survival
yeah.
instincts. I remember that as a kid. Just like I remember being a real little kid, and we used to go down to the end of the street and was to sneak into this property behind these houses. And there was just nothing there, big bushes and stuff. But one of the older kids had told us there was a witch back there.
Nice.
And one time we went back there, and he was like, "Let's get out of here! It's the witch, you know."
Oh,
and
shit.
man, I booked it high speed, man. I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna die. I
Yeah.
thought the witch was gonna get me.
Right.
Oh, jeez, that sensation is something else. Be up there, but that's what you want, though, right?
Right.
You go up to that area.
That's what you're looking for.
You're looking for
Yeah.
something like that, so you're probably feeling
Right.
it when it's not there, you know. So animals skittering in the bushes.
Exactly why I went up to look at the
Yeah.
ruins. I mean,
Yeah.
my dad told me about this house up there when I was a kid. He took me up there, and there was still a house there. And he told me him and his buddies would go up there, and it was a haunted house.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of Skyline Road, there was an old gate. You know, and there's spider webs, and crap everywhere, and it looks spooky as hell. I mean, he drove me up there, and that's all I saw. And later on in high school, I went up there and drove up there, and the gate was opened. We could get in there, and we went up there, and all that was left was the foundation
Yeah.
of this house and the swimming pool, and it's right there on this, outcropping, over a cliff over the valley and everything.
Did they take it down, or did it burn down, or what?
It probably was taken down.
Yeah,
It looks
'cause
like
people kept
'cause
going there.
I didn't really see fire.
Yeah.
It was bulldozed or something, or demolished, and but the foundation was there forever. And you could tell people were skating the pool, and there was graffiti and stuff. And that was it. I went during the day, and it was cool. Another time I went down there at night, but I never made it up there because the cops came and they got us out of the car and you know made sure the girls were crying and everything
Yeah.
before they left.
They're gonna ruin your night.
Yeah, ruined the night. We had to leave.
Yeah.
You
Didn't
know,
get arrested though.
no,
They just
I was a
didn't want you
teenager.
to come back.
Right.
But that happened a couple of times.
Teach those pesky
Yeah.
teenagers.
Yeah. Go show them.
You know, which is cool. I mean,
Yeah, you weren't the
whatever.
only people to go up there. You probably
No.
weren't even the only people they found that night.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I was trying to look for it on the map here, but I don't think it's there. They must have built another house or something. We'll have to drive up there and check
Yeah,
it
that
out.
guy's movie. He mentioned something about the owner of the land. He was developing it, wasn't he? He was
Oh.
not leveling it out. He was going to build another house there or something.
Right.
So, but yeah, but who owned the house?
I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's like I wonder why.
Why was it abandoned
Why does
so
somebody
long?
abandon a house? Yeah,
You
I
know?
always wonder about that. You see them every once
Yeah.
in a while. Sometimes they're just worn down and people can't
Right.
afford to fix them. But
Yeah.
that's prime location up there.
Yeah, it is.
You would think
Why
that
would they sell it
yeah,
to someone
someone
who could?
some
you
old
know?
man died or something. You think the family would want it.
Right.
But I don't know.
Split it. Or
Very
whatever. They
well,
were fighting
something,
over it.
something evil did happen there, and maybe that's why
Or
it was
that.
empty for so
You know
long.
what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah. Because there's definitely stories of sacrifices and crap happening up there,
yeah,
which ties into what I was saying earlier about that they're still there. And actually looking it up, it goes back to the 30s, stories of satanic cults up there. Like, that's nothing new. So during the Great Depression, Americans were desperately struggling to survive. Starvation and disease accompanied the financial hardships suffered by all. Some families, no longer able to care for their children, were forced to give them to orphanages, which were quickly becoming overcrowded. During this bleak era, the Whittier community began to hear strange rumors of a cult becoming active in the hills of Turnbull Canyon. This cult would adopt small children, keeping them in an old wooden barn to be slaughtered upon a hill. As time went on, adoption grew to become unreliable. As the demand for sacrifices grew, the cult turned to picking up runaways, then ultimately resorting to outright kidnapping. Many witnesses reported seeing bonfires and numerous cloaked figures enacting strange rituals late into the night. One witness in particular carefully snuck up to their camp and watched as the robed figures strapped a 12-year-old boy to a cross and danced around it, chanting until the ritual reached a crescendo, at which point the cross was inverted and the cultists began beating the child bloody. He was stuffed into a sack and